yo, beautiful people, this is Nadir.
This Kev.
And yo, we are Games Music Life. So we're back today to review this Blood Orange project titled Negro Swan.
Yeah, man.
Alternative music.
Yeah.
Why do they call it alternative though? That's the first thing that kind of got me.
It's tough to put this album or his sound in any box. I think that's where it ends up as alternative.
That is true.
Yeah.
I had never heard of him. I got to be honest with you. I never heard of him.
You didn't hear Freetown Sound?
Nope. Never listened to it. I know you tried to put me onto it. I didn't listen to it.
Yeah.
It kind of went over. I think we had something else going on review wise, or something else that came and I was reviewing. So I never reviewed it. I didn't know much about him. I did a little bit of research on his backstory. Very interesting. I will say that.
Yeah.
Super talented person.
Yeah.
I listened to this, man, and first of all, I was pleasantly surprised at the way the album flowed and how you listen to it. And the only thing that I will say that just kind of his sound. Now, see, this is something when I listened to it, I knew that you would probably appreciate this more than I would because it was like he doesn't have a very strong voice, but it's good enough for music. And I think that it wasn't really much story being told on some of the tracks, but I saw the track listing. The track with Diddy was dope. The track with ASAP was dope. Yeah. My favorite track on the album, I want to say
it wasn't Hope or Charcoal Baby.
Charcoal Baby was dope. No, it wasn't Smoke. Yeah, I think it was. No, it was one with ASAP, Chewing Gum.
Okay,
I like that one a lot, and Charcoal Baby was dope too.
Yeah,
the one with Janet Mock was pretty cool too. Yeah. But it definitely was an interesting album. The sounds that come from it were just very dope to me. It wasn't anything that I've heard recently, which I thought was definitely a pleasant surprise in that aspect. Just breaking the mold of everything else that had been coming out, trappy or whatever. It was just a good sound. I really liked the sound. It flowed well. The album flowed well together. And like I said, going in blind, I didn't know much about him. I could tell he's an interesting person.
Yeah.
And I could tell that by the music is interesting as well. But I'll definitely looking forward to him, going forward. But the one thing I will say, but even the track with Diddy, it was like he's doing his Diddy thing. He's talking, he's getting, talking about some things. But one thing I will say is the features that were on the album, the singers really outshined him. And I think maybe that was the focus. I think they wanted to do that. I don't know. But I think when you listen to those features, it kind of reminds you that he's not a very great singer.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what stood out to me. What do you think, though?
Man, I feel like that's going to be evident, pretty front page, that he's not a very strong vocalist, but the music itself is just so powerful that it kind of doesn't even matter. Now, with it, I've been listening to Blood Orange. I really got hip around Freetown Sound. When I first heard that album, it wasn't like anything I was hearing at that time.
Yeah.
And it was just so good. It was so sharp. And this album, it really felt like it took that sound and expanded upon it so much. And now the music sounds so polished, and it doesn't sound like overproduced or manufactured, but it's so precise, so spot on that you have to appreciate it.
Yeah.
The vocals on here, they're definitely the weak spot on this album. Like there are some points where it's like, man, you just realize that maybe them notes you can't reach or whatever.
Yeah.
And I hear a lot of like Michael Jackson when I hear his voice sometimes in spots on this album, and it's like, since you can't quite hit those notes, I can kind of tell that you're just doing that impersonation, but the music has so much emotion in it by itself that it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
The features on here, though, they were just spread far between. Like, I'm trying to figure out how Project Pat and Steve Lacy ended up on the same album, still made it work. And the spoken word sections or portions that come on there from Janet Mock, I thought that they were an excellent touch. The music just, it really just puts you in a whole mood. Like, when you're listening to it, it's like, it just zones you out. It's something just so nice, so gripping about the sound and the instrumentation. I didn't know how you were actually going to receive it, just because it is a little bit more like artsy as far as the sound goes. And we know how critical you were of Frank Ocean's Blonde. And there were actually times on here when I heard a lot of Frank Ocean influence as well. But man, the songwriting, very impactful. Even though it doesn't seem like he's saying much, a lot of the lyrics say a lot.
But when you do the research on it, you find out that he was just really traveling and made this album wherever he was at, whatever they had. If it was an acoustic guitar in there, he used that and played that and made the songs. That's what made me really appreciate it more than anything. Was the fact that it wasn't cookie cutterish. And that's the thing right now where we listen to music and we hear okay, I need a hit. Let me go get this person.
It's not that.
It's not that.
It's not that.
So
this is art.
Yeah, this is art. I can appreciate that more than anything. And I want that from everyone, just to make an organic album. That's what it seemed like to me what this was.
There are so many melodies and choruses that have just been getting stuck in my head like that. I just have to listen to this album. Check out our Boz review as well. Listen, it was tough for me to even listen to that album because this album was just so good. It was just so impactful. It was, man,
the thing about it is we always talk about people taking chances on albums. Yeah. Like doing a safe album. This was not safe in any stretch of the mind.
It wasn't. And it didn't have to be because there was no expectation.
No, and that's the thing about it. I don't think he really had any expectations at all. Yeah. He just was just making what was on his heart. And I can always appreciate that.
Absolutely.
So I definitely give him, credit for that. Because at first I listened to it and I couldn't stop listening after the first 2 listens. And like you said, the same way I felt for The Boss. I listened to it, but that seemed kind of cookie cutterish and just watch a review about that one.
Right.
But I could appreciate this album more. So at first I had written down an 84, but I'm like, damn, I really enjoy this project a lot. I bumped up to a 90.
Man, it just pulls you in. The whole project just constantly, and to be able to communicate emotion through sound is something that is rare in a lot of artists these days. And he did such a good job with it, whether it be through the pianos, through the strings. I mean, there were times in there. I want to say it was on Charcoal Baby, where it was like, the guitars were just so off that it just worked. Like they just melded. They came in and they did what they were supposed to do. They conveyed the emotion that they were supposed to.
Right.
And it was just so spot on. Like this album, it almost feels bad to grade it because it's like, I have so many feelings about it, and that's what music is supposed to be. With it, I rated this album out of 95. Okay. One of my favorites this year.
That's what's up. Yeah, I knew that you would love it. I was like this, but I was more surprised that I liked it as much as I did.
I mean, to the point that I forgave him for not being a good singer. I'm listening to this album. I'm like, I don't even care that he can't hit all those notes.
No album is perfect. I had to point that out as far as saying with his voice, but that's the same way I felt. Was like you lose track of the fact of knowing, like, man, dude might not even be a singer,
right? And it didn't matter.
No, it didn't.
Everything was just put together that well.
Absolutely. But let us know how you guys think, man. Blood Orange fans, you get in here, you get 100. I absolutely understand.
Yep.
Just want to get your review. Let us know what you guys think. Was I too high?
I was gonna say, if you gave it 100, man, we weren't too far off.
I didn't agree with you. Yeah. So let us know if we were too high, too low. Not some haters, but people who don't agree with our opinion.
Yeah.
Let us know what you guys think as well.
Listen, that's all welcome, man. All opinions welcome, man.
Absolutely. But I'm Nadir.
This Kev.
And we are Games Music Life, man. Drink more water, people.
Peace.
Peace.